Alright, come on. Let's get you out of there. Wakey, wakey.
What the hell? Why are you naked?
God damn.
What's up, y'all? One Piece One Life here, and guys, look. I'm sure you're probably wondering what the hell this show even is. I guarantee that the majority of you haven't even heard of this one. Or if you have, it's just been in like promotional material or just, word of mouth. And definitely not the entire first season, which came out in 2023. This is Undead Unluck, and I'm not lying to you when I say that it is one of the greatest shonen series that I've experienced recently. Its story is amazing, it has phenomenal world building, and it has one of the best endings in anime period. Honestly, better than most of the heavy hitters like Demon Slayer, My Hero, or the travesty that was JJK. But to me, the biggest attraction of the story is its power system. And I'm gonna explain to y'all why this is possibly the single greatest power system to come out in anime since Nen. If you're excited for me to put you on to a completely new series, then please do me a favor. Like the video, that's very, very important. Subscribe to the channel for more anime content just like this every week, and share it around with all your friends who love this series. You know what we always say here, let's get it going. Oh, and make sure you subscribe to me and my boys over at CSY. We're about to do a crazy drop within the next few weeks. Now, to understand this power system fully, we first need to go over the setup of the world. Now, in Undead Unluck, there is a literal god who is named Sun, who oversees the entirety of the universe, actively imposing and enforcing the rules of reality. Sun also creates the Uma, which stands for Unidentified Massive Animals, essentially huge monsters that personify rules like death, decay, aging, etc. And these monsters therefore have powers that relate to the rule that they embody, all to ensure that the world follows the divine logic of the reality that Sun wants. Within the universe, there are two different types of Uma that we're introduced to. Phenomena types that embody physical things like change, burning, or death, or concept types that embody more abstract things like justice, seasons, luck. Basically, whenever a new rule is added, you can bet that there's going to be some sort of monster attached to it. Now, remember how I said that there is the god of the universe called Sun? Well, Sun has a goddess counterpart in Luna, who is obviously the moon. Now, in response to Sun creating the Uma with Luna's help, this led to the rise of the Negators. Negators are humans who awaken powers that are capable of negating certain rules. Known as Negator Abilities, they're prefixed with un, like UN, the prefix, and then followed by whatever it is that they negate. Let's use Andy, one of the MCs, as an example. His power is undead, which means he negates the concept of death. So this grants him an undying body with hyper regeneration and the ability to live forever. Meanwhile, we have Fuko, the other MC, whose Negator ability is Unluck, the ability to negate luck itself. As such, anything that she touches has a stroke of bad luck placed upon it. Now, in humans, these powers are usually triggered after or during a traumatic event. They can also transfer to other people upon the original user's death. Some more examples of cool Negator abilities include Unstoppable, negating one's ability to stop, which makes them have super speed once they start running. Unjustice, negating the concept of justice itself, which causes anyone the user looks at to act opposite to their goals and morals. And my personal favorite, though be careful, it's a bit of a spoiler, Unfair, negating the concept of fairness, making it so that they can have multiple other people's Negator abilities at once, which otherwise wouldn't be possible because everyone's supposed to have one. Just like with the Uma, Negators have different classifications, and these are based on two criteria. Targeting, which is who they affect, and activation, which is how it actually works. A Negator can either be self-targeting, meaning that the power, targets yourself, or external targeting, affecting things other than yourself. In terms of activation, there are compulsory types, which is where the ability will activate once a condition is met regardless of the user's wishes, and voluntary types, where not only is the condition met, but also the user needs to will it to happen. Negators often fight the Uma embodying their rule, creating direct narrative synergy, or if not directly, they will at least send people with the abilities that can best counter any specific Uma. If you're asking who they is, I'm not gonna spoil it. Go and watch the show, or read it if that's what you're into. Now, if you haven't understood from that explanation just yet why this is such an amazing power system, well, lucky you, that's what this section is for. I believe that there are 4 things that, in concert with each other, make this power system stand above all others: uniqueness, strategy, lore, and rules. Firstly, we just have the fact that this is a truly unique concept. It is based on the negation of the rules of reality, with the author literally taking things that we would kind of just accept as everyday and making that into a power system. It's genuinely a new take on power that we haven't seen in Shonen so far. Even just the fact that anything with the un prefix before it can become a power, or at least has the potential to, it makes it so interesting. Cause to this day, it allows for even fans to be engaged by thinking of, oh, what power would I have if I was in that universe, or if I could create a new one, just by putting un in front of something and negating a rule. Negators are reality warpers targeting external concepts, literal fabrics of the universe, which is unlike a lot of other elemental based systems like chakra or magic. To be clear, I'm not saying that these power systems are bad, but the fact that they're similar shows that this new power system, it's pretty unique and we have to give it that. Now, the second thing to note with this system is that there is a lot of strategic depth to it. Negator battles are intellectual puzzles. Because it's predicated on negating rules, it's not just about, oh, how can we brute force our way through with our power, but rather, how can you actually find loopholes in your powers and in the powers of others and use those to your advantage? This overall makes the battles and conflicts much more interesting, because every time you're left wondering, how is the battle gonna unfold? And how, or even if, the protagonists are gonna win in this case. Plus, every time we're introduced to someone new, we get a new ability, and it's just almost a hype moment to see what can they do. You begin to ask questions like, how do you beat somebody who can literally negate your own power? How can you fight with something that isn't meant for fighting? How can I make use of something negative and turn it into a positive? We see countless examples of high battle IQ throughout this story. With Andy's undead ability granting him regeneration, he figured out that he can manipulate blood to an extent, using it to literally propel him or any of his severed body parts, almost like a rocket fist style attack. With Fuko realizing that she can imbue items with bad luck, she started carrying around guns with bullets that already have the bad luck loaded in them, so that she can shoot and attack from a distance so that she can be out of the bad luck's range. This is Shen. Everybody say hi, Shen. Shen has the Negator ability Untruth, which negates conscious thought, which makes anyone that he grows fond of and looks at to do the opposite of what they mean to do. He uses this in combination with his master hand-to-hand combat skills to literally confuse his enemies, such that they can't even touch him when they're fighting him. This girl's ability is Unchanged, negating the concept of changing, so she can make the air stop changing and almost lock it in place, allowing her to create constructs. Basically just making her Green Lantern without the ring. However, something that I believe is very undervalued within the anime space is having power systems that are very lore integrated. This is not just random power-ups or getting abilities for the sake of it. Negators are directly tied to God's powers and rules. Because they can be passed on, they're almost seen as a curse, which gives them emotional weight and trauma to the people who actually get them. And then because the power usually comes with some sort of tragedy, you get to experience people's backstories through the understanding of their power, which of course ties into how we see each character when we meet them versus their character development down the line. And these abilities are not just on the back burner, they literally shape the world and tie into the main plot of the verse, neutralizing the Umas, beating back rogue Negator factions, and ultimately defeating God and stopping Ragnarok from happening. Yeah, they got Ragnarok in this shit. So everything in the story, from the moment that somebody awakens powers to their final goal, revolves around these abilities. No part of the story, to me at least, feels disconnected from this, because the power system literally is the plot, and everything ties in so well to the story that the author is trying to tell. With these 3 sections, it already has the makings of a phenomenal power system. But for me, one of the biggest reasons why Undead Unluck's Negator system stands out is simple. It's because it sticks to its rules. The world has clearly defined logic from the start. God creates rules, these rules are embodied by monsters, and some people awaken the powers to be able to fight back against these monsters. And here's the thing, the series never forgets that and always has it as its core. So whether it's battle mechanics, ability origins, or even the consequences of using a Negator power, it all stays consistent with the way that we originally learned it. Even when new ideas are introduced. Stuff like artifacts, loops, or even the apocalypse quests. They don't feel random or out of place. Instead, they feel like natural extensions of the system that you already understand. This kind of internal logic means that as the story ramps up in excitement and complexity, people don't feel lost, but rather rewarded. And you know, that's kind of rare in Shonen. In a lot of series, new arcs and new bad guys will bring in completely new systems or changes to the system that departs so far from what we initially thought we knew. Looking at you, some arcs of Bleach, and especially you, JJK. But here, every twist and turn feels satisfying because you understand where it's coming from to an extent, which makes every battle, every usage of these abilities satisfying to see. So if someone asks you why Negator Abilities from Undead Unluck are such a phenomenal system, you can tell them that it just has everything that a true power system needs. Novelty, tactical creativity, lore cohesion, and well-defined rules. And I mean, honestly, this power system is one of the main reasons why I love Undead Unluck as a story. And genuinely, as a series, it feels so different from everything else in Shonen Jump that I really do believe that it's worth a shot for everyone to watch. But now I have a task for y'all. In the comments below, I want you to tell me what Negator ability you would have if you could make one up. What rule would you want to negate? How would your power work? Make sure to let me know all that more in the comments. Now that is the end of the video, y'all, but before we go, like it, subscribe, and share it around with all your friends who love the series, or anime and manga in general. As you know, I'm trying to build a community, but I need your help to do it. That's all from me. I'll catch y'all on the next one, and always remember, one piece, one life. I haven't found a good outro for Undead Unluck yet, but it will come. If I had to create a Negator ability myself, personally, I'm choosing uncool, so my body would never feel cold, and I also wouldn't be able to be affected by related things like, ice, snow, frostbite, or even sicknesses that derive from temperature. And no, it's not just because I have a cold right now and would like for it to go away.